to Chapter 3. We're going to talk about a multi-product cost volume profit analysis. So in the break-even and targeted profit analyses that we've been looking at, there's only been one product. Let's look at what happens or what we need to do when we have two different products that the company sells and we're trying to figure out our break-even point. So the first step in determining the break-even point is to compute the weighted average contribution margin per unit. So in this scenario, we're not looking at a contribution margin of $2 and a contribution margin of $3. We need to figure out the weighted average of the two products. So the first thing we need to understand is the portion of total sales that is due to the synthetic product versus the proportion of sales that's due to the organic product. So if you look at the bottom table below, you'll see that they told us that 80% of our sales are synthetic and 20% of our sales are organic. So what we do here is we're going to take the $2 contribution margin for synthetic times 80%, because 80% of our sales are going to be a $2 contribution margin, and $3 times 20%, because 20% of our sales are going to be for $3. And then we're going to add those two numbers together to get our weighted average contribution margin. So now, regardless of the method that you use, the contribution margin is going to be $2.20. That means that on average, our sales are contributing $2.20 towards our bottom line. From there, you would use any of the formulas. Here we're going to use the contribution margin per unit method. So we're going to take our fixed costs, which in this case is $2,112, divided by our weighted contribution margin, which is $2.20, to come up with 960 total units. The following income statement confirms that these sales volume figures constitute the break-even point. How did they come up with the bottles that they're selling for each of the sales? Well, we're going to take the 960 bottles that we calculated and multiply it by the portion of sales. So you'll remember 80% of our sales were synthetic and 20% of our sales were organic. So that's how we calculate the percentages there. We extend that out to calculate the total sales, calculate the variable costs of each. We get a contribution margin of $2,112, which is equal to our fixed costs. Therefore, net income is 0. Suppose that Bright Days president wants to know the number of bottles of each product that must be sold to earn a profit of $264 from the sales event. Again, you would do the same exact thing. You would take fixed cost plus the desired profit divided by the weighted average contribution margin to get a total number of units of 1,080. That's going to give us a profit of $264. Again, you multiply it by the percentages of sales and we calculate our total. Here we're looking at shifting the mix to 60-40. This means that we want to change from 80% of our sales being synthetic to only 60% of our sales. We're trying to sell more of the organic because it has a higher contribution margin. You'll see that it results in a higher net income. Instead of $264, we're now able to make $480. That's the end of Chapter 3. Please let me know if you have any additional questions. Thank you.